Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Celebrity Diaries. Since the mid-90s, Kellita Smith has exhibited striking flexibility in media outlets, setting her status as perhaps the most versatile entertainer. Her broad vocation traverses various tasks, and she earned far and wide respect for depicting Wanda Mulla on the Bernie Macintosh Show, from engaging zombies in Z Country to conveying Snickers on Martin and the Jamie Foxx How. Smith has graced the two theaters and television screens with her charming presence, regardless of her unmistakable on-screen presence. Insights concerning Kay's confidential life have stayed tricky anyway. Our editorial interest has uncovered a few astounding experiences revealing insight into her difficult childhood relationship with the Dark Jaguar Party, a nerve-wracking brush with death, and fascinating viewpoints on monogamy. Kellita Smith brags about her total assets of $3 million bucks, with a great compensation of $30,000 per episode for her job in the TV series Z Country, which was brought into the world on January 15, 1969 in Chicago. Kay's initial life was set apart by difficulties, including her dad's flight to battle in the Vietnam War, which eventually prompted the disintegration of her parents' marriage. She was brought up in Oakland, California, close by her twin brother Eric. Kay's childhood was molded by her mom after her dad's flight. Kellita was raised as a dark jaguar by whelp, signifying her status as the posterity of an individual from the Dark Puma Party. Her schooling occurred at the Oakland People Group Learning Center, an establishment established by the Dark Jaguars. The school confronted steady penetration by specialists, provoking a joint effort with the TV program Reebok, facilitated by LeVar Burton, to depict a good picture of the association in this setting. 8-year-old Kellita was picked among the understudies to talk with Hugh P. Newton, the fellow benefactor of the Dark Jaguar Party, exhibiting her initial inclusion in the socio-political scene. Surprisingly, she even stepped up to the plate and composed the content for her own portrayal, exhibiting her young yet discerning brain in spite of being youthful, brilliant, and delightful. Smith confronted early difficulties that negatively affected her soul. In a meeting with the LA Watts Times, she uncovered a troublesome childhood, growing up without a dad in the midst of a background of pimp vendors and competitors, which harmed her mental self-view. Her brutality turned into a dependable friend from the earliest stages through her teen and early adult years, leaving enduring scars. Regardless of these difficulties, Kellita persisted and got a degree in political theory from a neighborhood junior high school. At first, she filled in as a jazz artist, but she soon acknowledged it wasn't sufficient to get by to cover the bills. She took on jobs as a sales rep and a clerical specialist. Sadly, she confronted difficulties in these positions and conceded in a Reddit question and answer that she wasn't the ideal representative, frequently getting terminated from the majority of her positions at 21 years old. Kellita Smith found herself jobless in the wake of getting terminated from her last 9-to-5 position. During a meeting with the LA Sentinel, she shared the effective impact of dating a devoted ballplayer who showed the quintessence of chasing after one's fantasies, seeing his responsibility, and possible outcome in the NBA, where he is currently a lobby of fame aroused Kellita to look for a comparative enthusiasm in her own life, while the character of the b-ball player stays a secret and insightful work. Kay recommends an association with somebody from her old neighborhood of Oakland drafted into the NBA around 1990. This lines up with the course of events when Kellita, then known as Kellita Wood, and going through an extraordinary stage looking for her energy. She signed up for an acting studio, recognizing her underlying battles, yet communicating a profound craving to work on. In a meeting with the LA Watts Times, Kellita acknowledged saving her life, making sense of how diving into her feelings during long exhibitions permitted her to stand up to individual misfortunes and upgrade her specialty. Around 1993, Kellita moved to Los Angeles, where she wandered into theater. A projecting chief saw her ability during one of the creations, prompting appearances on Unfiltered and Fabulous, and resulting jobs in famous undertakings. For example, residing single Local Party 3. Martin and Jamie Foxx show that it was with the last option that she accomplished an achievement, permitting her to buy another vehicle, a white drop-top Volkswagen hair with white inside. Kellita drove forward and got jobs in various notable shows, gladly crediting her prosperity to difficult work and commitment. Regardless of her accomplishments, she didn't get away from experiences with sketchy circumstances. In a meeting with Satire Publicity, she underscored the significance of acquiring all that through her endeavors, expressing that nobody's giving me anything I didn't work for yet. I've generally had things removed in light of the fact that I wouldn't. Kellita declared that she keeps up with her standards and doesn't think twice about advancing in life, stressing that achievement doesn't require compromising individual qualities. In the year 2001, K.H. Smith set out on a critical excursion in her acting profession by trying out for a job close by the eminent Bernie Mac in his forthcoming sitcom, The Bernie Mac Show. Around then, Bernie Mac was riding the flood of achievement following his association in the first Rulers of Parody. In a genuine disclosure on the Viva, a Fox Web recording, Kellita shared her experiences with the tryout cycle, which featured a serious climate because of Bernie's ubiquity. The tryouts pulled in a huge number of extraordinarily skilled entertainers anxious to team up with the fruitful comic. Kay's way to getting the job of Wanda Mulla was not without testing, in spite of confronting starting dismissals with 2 no reactions. Her assurance drove her through a few tryouts, including follow-up studio tests and organization tests. The last test included a screen test close by Bernie Mac to evaluate their on-screen science. Eventually, Kay's ability and constancy acquired her the sought-after job. The Bernie Mac Show made its presentation in 2001, turning into a remarkable progress in the TV scene of the program. Accomplishments were substantial, finishing in a Peabody Grant, an early evening Emmy, and 3 NAA-CP Picture grants. Working close by Bernie Mac on the Bernie Macintosh Show was a fantasy acknowledged for Kellita Smith as she imparted to the PC Head site, depicting Bernie as an example of true excellence in every case, flawlessly dressed, reliable, and considerate to everybody. Kellita communicated her esteem, expressing he was one of those individuals who epitomized what it intended to be a lord, regardless of her essential job in one of the most famous dark sitcoms. Kellita felt her commitments were not getting acknowledgement, especially from dark news sources. Baffled by this insight, she assumed control over issues and contacted Embodiment magazine, addressing why she wasn't offered the chance for a component when Embodiment communicated a lack of engagement. Kellita made a strong stride by booking a trip to their New York office to resolve the issue at a gathering with a young woman supervising print activities. Kellita defied the absence of portrayal in her own local area. She addressed how I would get over the off chance that I couldn't have a presence in my own local area. In the event that I don't have a presence in my own local area, nobody is truly going to recognize what I'm doing. Kellita was met with a disheartening reaction, which the lady highlighted. Pith magazine covers were shown on the wall, naming the people as famous and determined. Kellita underlined that she and those on the covers were relatives of notorious individuals and ought to be in every way celebrated tragically. Her supplication for acknowledgement and affirmation inside the local area failed to attract anyone's attention in 2006. During an urgent period when the fate of the Bernie Mac Show remained in a critical state, the cast took a short break. It was during this time that Kellita Smith confronted a startling well-being challenge, distressed by strolling pneumonia, a milder type of contamination with cold-like side effects. Kellita stayed ignorant about her sickness for a very long time. What was going on took an extreme turn when the air sections inside her lungs imploded, provoking a crisis that saw her hurried to the clinic and put on a ventilator. Describing her experience to the Promotion magazine, Kellita shared that, in spite of the fact that she didn't observe the ordinary dreams related to brushes with death, she confirmed, "I really do realize I left, and afterward I returned, and that is all I can say." Luckily, she made a full recovery following the finish of the Bernie Mac Show in April 2006. Kellita, now known as Kellita, kept on remaining dynamic in her profession. Bernie Mac's unforeseen, expected call welcoming her to open for him during his extended residency at the MGM Terrific Inn in Las Vegas denoted a critical move unbeknownst to Kellita. Bernie settled on the decision from the clinic, and unfortunately, she could never be able to open for him. Bernie died several months after their discussion in June 2020, in the midst of the quarantine. Kellita imparted a few individual experiences to the Promotion magazine, communicating her excitement to break free from neurosis and grandstand her new embeds, making the rounds. The entertainer, who has kept a degree of security about her own life, uncovered that she was isolated with her sweetheart yet decided not to reveal his personality in conversations about family and connections. Kellita has been open about not having kids and never being hitched. She holds an exceptional point of view on the customary in a meeting with Parody Publicity. She conveyed her qualms about marriage, seeing it as a game plan without evident honor. Strangely, Kellita credits her unmarried status as an element that has added to her energetic appearance over the course of the years. Thanks for watching this video.